Well, good evening. Wonky Astronomer here. Well, I've just watched a video on YouTube by Brady Haran on his Objectivity channel, and it's called White Gloves of Destiny. And in that video, he finds a paper, a scientific paper in the Royal Society, published in the Philosophical Transactions. That must be a scientific journal. And it's a very short account of an eclipse of the moon that happened in 1760. And I thought I'd just, check whether that was a real thing, or whether this guy who wrote this is just talking shit. This is Sky Safari Pro, and I'll try to do this in real time just to show you the process. Because a question I get asked a lot is, when I'm showing people things in the sky, they say, how do you know that that's Saturn, or that Jupiter's going to be in that place at that time? And I say, well, I use the software. I just use my software. All right, so this happened in London. So the first thing I need to do is set my location to London. I don't have that location. I'll have to search for that. So London. How do you spell London? Okay, there's a lot of Londons. Okay, it'd be London, United Kingdom. There you go. Set my location to that. Now I need to set the time and date to the date of this eclipse, and I'm looking at it here, and it's 1760 November, so 11 and 22nd. Now the time is set to 7 a.m. I'll make that 7 p.m., which is much closer. Step back a couple of hours. Okay, so 5:28 p.m. Now we'll search for the moon. We'll find the moon. Type moon. There's two moons. That's the one we want. Okay, so there's the moon. Now let me just check whether it's at the correct phase, because an eclipse of the moon could only happen at full moon. So we'll look at the information. And yes, it's full moon, 14.7 days old. Now, it may actually tell me something about eclipses. Yes, next lunar eclipse, May 18, 1761. So that's a year later. Well, the following year. That's strange. It should be telling me there's an eclipse in a couple of hours. Anyway, let's move forward in time. I'll set that to minutes, and then we'll play it. So we're moving forward in time rapidly. Oh, look at that. The shadow, the Earth's shadow is coming across the moon. I'll go forward. That's the penumbra. There's the umbra, which is the dark part of the shadow. So in fact, there is an eclipse. Interesting. So I'll just go back again. All right, so go back, keep going back until the moon is not covered. So the shadow starts to cover the moon right about there. So that is 6:24 p.m. The paper says penumbra very sensible at 7:26. I guess that means that's when he could clearly see that the penumbra was on the moon. The penumbra is the part of the Earth's shadow it's only part shadow. It's actually very hard to see, and you'd hardly notice it actually. So, he's not seeing it until 7:26. So let me go forward to 7:26 roughly. About there. Well, it's 7:23. Okay, the penumbra is almost completely covering the moon by then. And I guess this side of the moon would be getting a little dark by then. So let me go forward a little bit. So what does he say next? He says beginning of the eclipse at 7:39. I guess he means the beginning of when the umbra starts to cover the moon, the dark part of the shadow. Let's go forward. Yeah. Okay, so that's pretty close. Let me find where it's. I should zoom in a bit. This red part is the shadow. So I'll go forward. No, I'll go back about there. It's just touching the moon. That's 7:31. So there's an 8-minute discrepancy there. Don't know what that means. Next he says quantity of obscuration 17 minutes 36 seconds at 8:49. I guess he means when the eclipse is at its maximum, which is, it's hard to judge actually, but it's probably about there. And that's 8:42. And he says 8:49. So that's pretty close. And then moon's diameter almost parallel to the horizon at 8:53. Almost parallel to the horizon. Maybe he means when the shadow, when the edge of the shadow is parallel to the horizon. Perhaps like that. This is showing it vertically. Let's see where the horizon is. There's the horizon. It's not a very good view. The green part is the horizon. So this view is right side up. But I'll zoom in again. So probably about there. And that's 9:05 actually. He's put 8:53. It's probably very difficult to judge that actually. And then end of the eclipse at 10:08. Okay, so we'll go forward. End of eclipse is about there. A little bit further. Okay, about there. And that's 9:53. He's put 10:08. So there's quite a discrepancy there of several minutes, but probably that's largely due to the difficulty of observing exactly when the shadow comes onto the moon and leaves the moon, because the shadow is very fuzzy. So making accurate timings is very difficult. And also, I don't know how accurate my software is. I don't know how accurate his timing is. He's not using GPS clocks here, that's for sure. So there you have it. An account of an eclipse of the moon in 1760 by James Short.